Today, Oliver's already said it, so we're ready. We're set to go. A lot has happened over the weekend. So many things. From River State governor who came out to say, I'm 001. And then reactions from the House of Assembly. That's how we signed out on Friday. That story continued all through the week. There's also the issue of bandits now coming out from their hiding to speak about former governors. Former governor of Zamfara State, bandits coming out to say, no, I know Imo, but he did not give me 30 million, no, and so on. Everybody's saying, what's going on? Bandits are now having say in conversations.
Are they not Nigerians? Are they not citizens?
And so on.
Everybody has a right to speak.
And then the story of the president further promoting, someone in his on his team as well.
Yes, the ADC.
Yeah, the army saying,
this is the army is an institution that has set rules and procedures. And then you can't have a one-star general being an ADC. It's beyond his position. And how do you promote someone twice? In a year. In peacetime. It's not even war.
But then the president is the commander, he's the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, but still.
So he would have the authority.
Its power as commander-in-chief is not absolute. And it's leading to grumblings among his close friends, because the people you went to the academy with.
I agree.
Your promotion is meant to be in tandem. Just imagine you come to Breakfast Central today and because Mr. K likes me, because I'm very handsome, it now makes me, not because I'm handsome, that one is also.
No, that one is
I'm highly intelligent, and you might think that a lot of the electronics I use in my house are high-sense products. But anyway, he makes me a
brand ambassador.
No. The deputy, we create a position.
Deputy programs
MD.
chief.
No, deputy MD. That's
are you using that to lobby?
Yeah, I'm not lobbying. Deputy MD. How will you guys feel?
No, I'll be very happy for you.
I joined you guys on Breakfast.
I'll be happy for you, Nani.
Kind of like my seniors.
No, I'll be happy for you.
You are my seniors. You are lying. This only that puts Calabash on my seat next day. I'll say, Olive, hi. She will just sit there. What's good about it? No. Joe will begin to keep malice with me. So that's a similar situation. That's the kind of thing
that's from the north or the south.
The president's promotion of his ADC.
Yeah. No, I'm mature. We need to be.
I'm not mature. I get you. Let it happen first. Mr. K, if you're listening, please. I'm lobbying.
Anyway, let's straight to the regular conversation.
Absolutely. Let's begin with the big story. We'll touch on that later.
Absolutely.
But the U.S. Congressman Riley Moore has spoken about the harsh realities facing communities in Benue State after meeting with victims of the violence, sharing their experiences during an interview with Go News. He described the stories as deeply disturbing, recounting how repeated attacks have forced families to flee from their homes, have destroyed livelihoods, and he said he will be submitting a detailed report on the situation to former U.S. President Donald Trump, adding that efforts will be made to work closely with the Nigerian government to help bring an end to the attacks and ongoing insecurity. His remarks have drawn renewed attention to Benue's crisis as calls grow stronger for civilian protection and coordinated local and international action. Let's take a look at this video and we'll come back to share our thoughts.
And there is a person on this mission, Republican Congressman Riley Moore, who just led a congressional delegation, not over Zoom, but by armored vehicle. You went into this country at a time when they are taking Christians, and you went to these camps of internally displaced people. First of all, welcome to The Focus. Tell me what the people told you.
Well, Harris, it was really shocking. The stories that we heard, the imagery, it was, I've never witnessed anything like that personally in my life. I met one woman, and I see you're showing some of the pictures, who had lost her entire family. 5 of her children were murdered right in front of her, and she was pregnant at the time and was able to escape. She had that child at an internally displaced camp. And I mean, you could just see that her soul had literally left her body. And there are countless stories like this. Another woman was attacked. Her family was attacked. She lost her husband, her 2 daughters, and they murdered her unborn child. These Islamic terrorists murdered her unborn child and took it right out of her.
You know, I don't know.
It's beyond words.
I don't know if my team has it, but we do have a picture of one of those women with her baby in her lap, and you're standing with her. So I'll ask my team to kind of shuttle through these pictures so that we can show even more. Look, Congressman Moore, the president right now is waiting to hear from you. You are preparing a report. Let's talk about the news. There she is, so beautiful. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like to have to leave that camp knowing that your mission ahead is for them.
No, absolutely, Harris. And this mission was part of our report. This was a fact-finding mission. There were 5 members of Congress in total that went there. We went to Benue State, which is one of the most dangerous states in the country of Nigeria. This is where all the Christians, a majority of them, are being murdered for their faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But I felt that we had to go there, so we went in armored vehicles with security and went there and visited with these people, visited with these Christians, Christian associations, Bishop Anagbe, the Catholic Church, Protestant leaders as well, and got ground truth that we're going to go report back to the president, and we're going to make recommendations in the report that he has asked us to do. He's asked myself and Chairman Tom Cole to give him a report and report back to him, and we're going to do that by the end of this month.
Are people afraid there? I mean, how many people are in these protection camps?
Well, in protection camps, probably really not.
So it's mixed feelings for me. Mixed feelings first. It's such a shame that it feels like we're paying more attention to our insecurity challenges because there are foreign eyeballs on us now, that the U.S. is looking particularly at Nigeria. It feels like our leaders took double the steps and double the efforts ever since Donald Trump made that statement of, coming into Nigeria, guns are blazing. We do not need an external influence before we protect our citizens. On the other hand, it's a good thing that we're driving attention to this. And I was telling you off camera about how I saw a story that Chudo Chidonwo did as well. When he went to the state, he spoke with Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, who we've also interviewed here on News Central. And then there were videos of these graves, these mass graves. You could see people rolling and wailing and weeping. He was carrying a baby and saying that the baby's sibling had been killed allegedly by bandits. We cannot continue to pretend like this is not a huge concern, because it feels like some parts of the country seem to be living in a bubble. And we think it's happening in the north, it's happening in the middle belt, it won't come here. We see it already happening in the eastern part of the country. In different parts of the country, insecurity is a huge challenge. It's whether or not adequate attention is being paid to the challenges of insecurity. We say that it's illegal to pay, we say people should not pay for ransom, but kidnapping is a business. Kidnapping has become a business, and people it just feels like people are working now.
It's an industry. It's more than a
thriving industry.
It's more than a business. I mean, this is really sad. Like Olive mentioned, they had to take the attention of a foreign country for us to, pay extra attention to this and sit up. Before Donald Trump's tweet, it was business as usual. We're talking as if 2027 was in 2 weeks' time, but now we seem to understand the gravity and seriousness of it, and it's unfortunate. And those victims, the innocent people, thousands of lives that have been lost all across Nigeria. Imagine you as a citizen facing clear and present danger, and the state is not there to protect you. First wave, second wave, it happens over again. You begin to lose hope in your country. Why do we even have Nigerians living in internally displaced camps, IDP camps? It's as a result of the failure of the state to protect Nigerian citizens, which is quite unfortunate. Going forward, I hope, and we're looking forward to Congressman Riley's presentation of his fact-finding mission to Nigeria, to President Donald Trump, that we'll have a sort of partnership and synergy in dealing decisively with this issue of terrorism and all sorts of crimes across Nigeria, because it's gone too far, and it's a tragedy that we have mass graves and we see all these killings happening as a failure of the Nigerian state to protect its own citizens. It's the most basic of responsibilities as stipulated by the Nigerian Constitution.
Absolutely, Gbenga. I think we're spot on with that. But let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly. and find out what they are doing or what they're saying concerning this story. Let's find out if we do have some of the tweets, reactions. Mega Wallach says, I don't see anything wrong.
So I think this is a wrong tweet. This tweet is regarding the story of the...
Okay. Yeah, that's a wrong one.
Let's move away from this tweet. This is a tweet concerning President Tinubu's ADC special promotion.
Oh, okay. I get that. So I get that. That's right.
We'll move away from that. But just to mention that, you know, it's a really sad time, and our heart goes out to our brothers and our sisters in different parts of the country that have to deal with insecurity. We must stay united as a nation with one voice to be able to speak about the ills in our society, to be able to hold our government to account. We cannot have leaders who are there, and I'm glad that the National Assembly is now speaking up. I remember that sometime, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Falz the Bad Guy had, Falz the Bad Guy had started a petition asking for people to reach out to their representatives and ask them questions, call them. And that's how it's done in other climes, where if you feel like your representation is not doing what they're meant to do, you call them. You went to the polls to vote for them. You call them and you ask them questions and you demand representation at the highest levels from them. So if you feel that your senators are not wielding legislative instruments to protect you, to be able to ensure that you're granted or guaranteed safety and security, you call them. And when it's time to vote, you go to the polls and you vote them out. And voting people who you think will do the job, or who you believe, or who have shown reason for you to believe that they will do the job. It's a really sad and sorry situation. But enough of the talk and the rhetoric. So what we want to see is a more secure Nigeria with less issues of kidnapping and banditry. And that these people are made to face the law as opposed to us having excuses for why their behavioral pattern is in a certain way and how they're not bad people. Sisi Achegumi. Let's move on to our next story.
No,
we have some reactions
Nigerians are saying very quickly. Biafra Twitter says, this is speaking truth to power. Thank you, Rep. Riley Moore, for your bold step with your team on the fact-finding mission in Nigeria. Praying for all the victims of Fulani Islamic terrorists. Help is coming. That's what he says. Let's see if we'll have another tweet very, very quickly. You were supposed to visit the affected areas, not just Christian communities. You don't care about humanity. It's just an agenda to you. So says another person. Well, do not think that the Nigerian government will be a trustworthy partner in fighting jihadi violence. They have decried militants and bandits for 20 years, but never brought any to trial. That's what Mike Bruce says. And a long one from BMO says, Dear Rep. Riley Moore, what you and your team witnessed meeting IDPs in Benue is just the tip of the iceberg. The horrors faced by displaced families in Jos Plateau State and southern Kaduna, forced to live in camps that are repeatedly attacked by Fulani Islamic radicals, are even more heartbreaking. We're deeply sorry you had to see the pain firsthand. Please urgently expedite your reports to President of the United States with clear recommendation on how the U.S. can work cooperatively with the Nigerian government to finally end the slaughter of innocent Christians in the Middle Belt and halt the ongoing terrorist threat in the Northeast. Lives are being lost every day while Nigerian politicians remain focused only on 2027 elections, not on protecting their people. Time is critical. Please act now to help save lives. May God grant you the wisdom of Solomon in this moment. Okay, comes with a prayer as well to end the package. Well, Mazi Uche Okwodo says, it is striking to see a U.S. representative, speak live about what he experienced and was told at the Benue IDP camp. Bringing these stories to a wider audience can raise awareness and show the world the reality on the ground, which is the first step towards change. Well, that's what Nigerians are saying. But just as we wrap up this particular conversation, the point is, I like what the last tweet said. He said it's bringing awareness to what's happening, but we can rightly say that the awareness is actually there now. And the awareness has always been there, but it was not as loud
and
as
then
it
the
used to be.
awareness is skewed towards Christian victims.
Exactly.
Only. And I mean, Nigerian Muslims are victims of terrorism. So I guess the fact-finding mission was to find out the Christian part. Nigeria is a secular country. Nigeria has all sorts of religious adherents. So when you focus only on Christian victims, it almost seems like, okay, is there an agenda here? Because those Muslims that have been killed, they also deserve justice.
So the question is, who is doing the killing, and why is the focus? Why are we not bringing them to book? Right.
Then,
if we don't deal decisively with our insecurity challenges,
exactly, the
it
Nigerian state
moves
needs
across
to
board. We're talking about increasing costs.
Every loss of a Nigerian life is a tragedy.
Did you guys see?
And it's a failure on the Nigerian state not to be able to protect all Nigerians.
A huge failure.
Just to touch on this, I had to put up something yesterday. I spent almost 2 hours watching the Bondi attack.
Yeah, in Australia.
In Australia.
And spending almost 2 hours watching that, I have never felt the way I felt yesterday. I was moved to actually just put down a little article here and there, and of course edit a few. And what I saw was, there was a lot. People were killed. Now the number here has risen to 15. But the way and manner in which the authorities handled the situation was well enough to have quelled any form of chaos.
It was swift.
They came on TV. Bear in mind, it was evening time. The Prime Minister was there live, dressed up, ready. The police chiefs, security chiefs, they were taking questions, not easy questions, tough questions from members of the press. Do you know this person? Where does this person come from? Can you tell us this? They were responding, and they did not hold back, stating that this is a terrorist attack.
They were available to
immediately.
They
defined it. This is a terrorist attack, and this is what we're going to do. And I think it's high time.
And summary of that is, if we don't fix our insecurity problems, more Nigerian lives will be lost. We keep asking on this show, what is the value of the Nigerian life? So beyond the big problem of Nigerian lives being lost, there are also lesser but equally important problems, such as flight costs will continue to increase. People will not want to ply the roads because they're afraid of being kidnapped. And then because of an increase in demand, the businesses, the airlines will capitalize on that, increase the airfares. We'll start to see it increase.
And
the
then
cost of living will increase across board.
And it's embarrassing.
It's a shame.
Telling you to fix up.
It's a
Imagine
shame.
coming to your home
family and telling you how to be the man in your house. Family. It's so sad. But let's come back home. Still talking about security, but in a different measure. President Bola Tinubu's approval of his aide-de-camp, Nuruddin Yusuf, for promotion to the rank of Brigadier General has sparked murmurs of discontent within the Nigerian army. The promotion formalized in a letter dated December 12, 2025, from National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wahid Shaibu, is Yusuf's second elevation within a single year, following his decoration as a colonel earlier this year. That's in January. Military sources indicate that several officers, including some of Yusuf's classmates, are uneasy about the unusually rapid career progression, describing it as unprecedented and raising questions about the criteria for promotions at the top levels. While proponents argue that the president has the prerogative to recognize exceptional service, critics within the ranks view the move as bordering on favoritism, a development that has quietly ignited conversations about fairness, morale, and the integrity of promotion processes in the Nigerian army.
If you recall, in the wake of former President Obasanjo assuming office as civilian president in 1999, one of the first things he did was to retire every single politically exposed soldier or member of the armed forces that was either a governor or taking up a position that is an aberration to the army, because that's not their professional calling. And also their ADCs. So if you were ADC to a politically exposed person, they were purged from the army, a whole lot of them, Army, Navy, and Air Force. And the reason he did this was because he wanted to make the Nigerian Army and Armed Forces a truly professional armed forces with no political influence. And now you see, I mean, it's no fault of the ADC. The president probably likes him. He's almost like a glue.
No, you can take away probably. He likes him.
The president
it may not be about liking him.
Or he admires his professionalism.
It's possible.
He was a lieutenant colonel just on the day of inauguration 2 years ago. And then 2 years later, you were Brigadier General. Some of your course-mates are still lieutenant colonels. They are yet to be promoted to full colonels, and then now you make him a Brigadier General. It's an aberration. You have standards, rules in the armed forces. You take promotional exams. It takes about 3 years or 4 years before you get promoted. How do you even? He hasn't even attended War College. There are certain courses you have to attend, and then you're general. if you look across the world, it's unfathomable to see a one-star general being in the position of an ADC, you know, standing behind the head of state.
Okay.
So there are other ways to appreciate someone's contribution.
What if there's an alternative explanation?
Let's keep it professional. We have a professional armed forces here, and when you begin to, and it's not the job of the National Security Advisor to write to the Chief of Army Staff. Yeah. The Chief of Army Staff, there's an Army Secretary, there's a Chief of Army Staff, there's a promotion board, there are ways and designated protocols for promotion. It shouldn't come this way. This is an aberration.
Okay.
But that's
what is the other explanation? And this is, wait, hold on, let me give you the other explanation.
It cannot be valid.
The other explanation would be that this was done as a result of they wanted to ensure that he's not subordinate to the other security officials within the presidential.
He has special privileges in his position as ADC. You don't have to promote him.
Let me read something that someone anonymously, an anonymous source shared with the Premium Times newspaper. It says, the president approved the elevation to align Mr. Yusuf's rank with those of other senior security officials attached to the presidential villa. According to the source, the Nigerian Police Force in August promoted the president's chief personal security officer, Usman Shugaba, from Deputy Commissioner of Police to Commissioner of Police. Similarly, the SSS recently elevated the president's chief security officer, Adeboyega Fashasi, to the rank of director. The source explained that the police and SSS ranks are considered equivalent to that of a brigadier general in the Nigerian army, adding that without a corresponding promotion, Mr. Yusuf would have remained subordinate in rank to his counterparts within the villa security architecture. A move that will reduce esprit de corps.
This is really wrong, and there's no competition in terms of ranks. Even generals, when they come to the Council of State for meetings, even the Chief of Army Staff, there's a special privilege the ADC to the president gets. He's very close. He's almost like his personal secretary to the president. He still has that status via his position, by virtue of his position. So you don't need to change his rank. The commander of the Presidential Guard is a brigadier general. Brigadier General, I can't recall his name now. It was my senior in military school. ADC Onosanya, yes. That's the name of the commander of the Brigade of Guards that is responsible for the president's security. And then you make his ADC now a brigadier. An ADC that was probably 4 years his junior in academy. You're making a mockery of institutions. And this shouldn't be happening. It's an aberration.
Let's see what Nigerians feel about it. And, if Nigerians think it's right or, they think differently.
Everest says for someone to leak the letter from the NSA to the Chief of Army Staff, it shows that the letter caused some problems within the army and it was wrong for Tinubu to do that. He's your ADC, yes, but don't break rules for him.
Absolutely.
That's the point. Another one, Megawolix again, says, I don't see anything wrong here. The president wants loyalty. Abacha promoted Al-Mustafa rapidly.
Okay, let's pause here.
Let's pause here, Gbenga.
So this is totally false and it's wrong. And Al-Mustafa was his chief security officer. It wasn't his ADC. And all through the presidency of Abacha, in the 5 years or how many years was Abacha president, did you ever hear a captain Hamza Al-Mustafa? It was always a major. It wasn't promoted. So that information is blatantly false on two levels. He was chief security officer. It wasn't rapidly. How do you even rapidly promote someone to major? Major is a mid-level officer. It's lieutenant, second lieutenant, captain, then major. He retired as a major. So where is this promotion coming from? And it never happened throughout the presidency of Abacha. It was chief security officer. It wasn't his ADC, and that information is false.
All right, so I bet you heard from the horse's mouth.
Are you a horse?
We'll take more. We'll take our last tweets, final tweets as we wrap up Wake Up Conversations, getting ready to go into the conversation proper. Pa Johnson says, if the army was truly dissatisfied, we would know by now, but they are not. They're all happily standing on their commander-in-chief's mandate. Well, speak for yourself, Pa Johnson. We don't know, but we just hear, and that's what the media, the news media, the press is taking.
Let me say this: in the exceptional case of a war situation, you have war heroes, you have people that perform exceptionally well in the battlefield, or you want to recognize them, sometimes they can give them field promotions. And then you give them the Iron Cross or their medals for that. You just don't go around promoting people and causing rancor within the system. Well, that's why you respect institutions.
So what is this going to do to the army in
I mean, it will have to be reversed. I don't know how it's going to hold because it's an aberration. How do you can't even, the rank of a brigadier general is way above the position of an ADC. So I don't know how it's going to work, or maybe they'll have to put a pause to this. And I'm sure retired generals and people that have been part of the Nigerian Armed Forces in the past will maybe have their say and, advise Mr. President to rethink this decision.
Well, you're advising the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, remember. But let's move now to our final story. And before then, to mention that if you'd like to drop a comment, please head over to YouTube. We want to take your reactions as well in our live stream.
Let's take some quickly. Let's quickly take this one. Ikechukwu Victory says, how many of our so-called Nigeria senators have visited IDPs in Nigeria to listen directly from the victims? But a congressman from US came here to tell our story. Shame on them. Good morning, guys. Ikechukwu Victory again says, this comment is to appreciate Madam Olive for always, Olivia, that's what we call you, for us remembering to read our YouTube comments every morning. God bless you. Please urge your colleagues to always read our comments. I'm reading it now, right? You can see I'm reading it now, right?
Or else.
You see, or else. I'll mark you out. We'll not
or else what happened in 1945.
I'm reading on behalf of the team.
Anyway.
Okay, our final story this morning now. Let's head over to Imo State, where the Imo State Police Command has arrested officers featured in a viral video for allegedly extorting a citizen in Obo local government area. The incident, which drew widespread attention just 3 days ago when the victim shared the footage online, sparked public outrage over misconduct within the force. The police confirmed that the officers involved have been apprehended and assured that they would face appropriate disciplinary and legal actions. Authorities also emphasized their commitment to rooting out corruption within the ranks and urged residents to report similar incidents, sending a clear message that extortion and abuse of power by law enforcement will not be tolerated. Let's take a look at the video.
Yeah. Why I demand for ADC or the phone is meant. I want to know the kind of guy the phone before the bring the now yeah, I'm doing it. Where am I? Yeah. Yeah, these people. No. No, let me follow. Belongs to who? The vehicle belongs to who? My sister. My sister.
Hello. Sir? Apa? They confirm. Yes, sir. Not confirm. Yes, sir. Apa, I don't do the 100 again. Oh, yeah. The 30% now, add. I think come on, now person even send the money. I made this guy come. Let him come.
No. I think say maybe one that I sleep down now.
The only thing I want to come.
I just want to check your bag.
Come and sit down your places.
No, I know put only up. No, iron there. Then this one a power chain. Now see the power chain on top. Now the green one.
You know, for lovers of hip hop, this is where DJ Khaled says another one.
Another one.
And it's very sad and unfortunate that we're sounding like broken records, because what's the appropriate... I saw the statement from the Nigerian police saying appropriate measures, they've been apprehended. What appropriate disciplinary measures?
Let's actually see the tweet if we have it from the Imo police. Right, let's take the tweet and share with you what exactly they said. They said, update on the viral video involving JTF personnel in Obo. The personnel involved in the joint security patrol at Obo, as seen in the viral video, have all been arrested and are currently in detention. Upon the conclusion of the ongoing investigation, each personnel will be... What's the next part of the tweet? Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have the full tweet here.
We'll probably face ordinary room trial, and then appropriate punishments will be assigned to them. But the point is, what sort of appropriate punishment would serve as a deterrent to the bad eggs in the Nigerian police force to prevent this from happening? Because we're just only waiting for the next incident to happen. And thank goodness for cameras, because if these young lads went to make a report, a formal report, without this video evidence, they will deny it and protect one of their own. But there's hardly any difference between this and daylight robbery, because this is extortion. The only reasons why they can't resist is because you're so-called law enforcement and you're carrying a weapon just to extort innocent citizens. And this scenario that we saw plays out almost on a daily basis in different corners of the country. And you're wondering when enough will be enough.
Gbenga, it baffles me that the Nigerian police force has not learned from what happened in 2020. It baffles me that now that everybody's going into the Yuletide season and this period, Nigerian police are also going into the same season by mounting roadblocks and looking forward to ensure that they make XYZ amount of money. And I'm not mincing words here. Drive around the island, drive around the mainland, especially weekends, weekdays, evening times. You just find all of a sudden police officers are on certain roads that they've never been at, junctions,
searching the pockets. It's always young Nigerians searching their pockets.
Particularly young Nigerian boys.
Or you drive a car that is tinted. In short, any tinted car now, they chase you down with the ones with the bikes. They tell you, stop, can we see you, who are you, and so on and so forth. And I think it's high time the Nigerian police force, I did see the IGP have a conference where he was talking about securing, people are safe, they can go around. While the police officer or the police IGP is mentioning that they're providing safety to ensure that people are safe during the Yuletide season, they should also use that period to give an orientation to the police officers. It is not in their place to stop people. Look at that video. He acted like a Lord and God, and he was saying, what's your name? And they were counting monies. You recall here that some months ago, we had also shown a video of some police officers who were recorded by someone. They were in their car, they were sharing their profits, counting money, and so on. And then you just hold people. My question today to Nigerians is, with this action, what's the difference between this action and the kidnapping that we're talking about?
So
what's the difference?
You held them
because you're holding people at will and telling them, who are you? Oh yeah, go and bring money. Oh, what's that laptop? Bring that laptop. You seize it. I'm seizing it. For what?
Do you know that my baby cousin, came to spend holiday with me, and my friend gifted him a laptop. He took a flight back home, and his father calls me and says, oh, he can't go to school with the laptop because on the way to school, the police will stop him. And if there isn't a receipt attached, there's a problem. So he had to ask me to call my friend that gifted him the laptop, a laptop he has had in his house. I mean, the things I bought, I don't even know when the receipt of this phone is, that he has to look for the receipt. If not, he can't take it to the school. If not, the police will harass him on the road. So,
I mean, imagine.
Here, going too far, the island is too far. Last week, I was taking taxi when my car broke down. That day, remember that day? Yeah. On the mainland, the taxi that took me, he was just cursing all through the ride because there was a particular road that we had police, we had LASMA, and we had road safety. And he was just like, on one road, they will check you here, you move 30 seconds further, they will check you again. What in the ridiculousness is that?
The only thing that is missing is DSS, Navy, and Air Force.
Actually, make it complete.
I'll just complete it.
They will now put NDLEA and EFCC at the end. So let's have all the, all our law enforcement agents. Really. So there are two angles to the conversation that I want to look at.
Like it's not.
Do you know why we'll keep going on? Because when the police is accused of certain acts, what happens is they do a public statement saying that they are under arrest and they will be tried, and we never hear anything about it. No. What happens in many situations is they remove them from that area that zone, send them into another zone, so that people there will forget. And we have a short-term memory as Nigerians. Our level of remembering things is very, very light.
The punishment is not commensurate
exactly what I wanted to say.
Because it's the elements of kidnapping, extortion, and robbery.
If I know
what they're doing.
If I know that doing this is tantamount to losing my job, and I value my job, I will not do it. So if I see that Gbenga has collected money and done some very, terrible things behind the scenes, okay, not your name.
So I use somebody else.
Joe.
Use Joe.
Okay, Mayor Kun, if I see that our colleague Mayor Kun has done something illegal and he has collected money and cut corners, and management found out and they now fired him, that serves as a deterrent to me to know you can't try this. They fired Mayor Kun. If you do it, they will fire you. But we don't have. We don't.
Fantastic example.
Let me state here 2 ways. I think the police need to stop this. Is one, the police should create an official website, an official website that is managed, led, and handled by the police itself.
So they have a public complaints unit.
If you check the police website today, go and check. Have you seen images and pictures
Name and
of
shame.
those?
Okay.
Well, create a website. That website, call it the anti-corruption police, whatever team unit. Now, this kind of video, their pictures should be there immediately. And when you put them there, it simply means that it behoves on the police officer to ensure that these ones are summarily dismissed.
Yes, they should be.
And when you're dismissed, you put up their profile. This person is no longer.
Yeah, exactly, because it happens in private companies. It doesn't represent
a police officer. Please beware.
Dealing with this person comes at a risk.
This website this process is very key, because even some who have been dismissed, they still find themselves back into the police. They still have the uniform.
These are the same people that when they arrest young boys, that they haven't confirmed whether they are criminals or not, they will display their pictures that they are Yahoo boys. So while we speak about that, we must also speak that this again brings up the conversation about the reformation of Nigeria's police force. And the reform of Nigeria's police force will take several looks. It will take, one, ensuring that the bad eggs are flushed out, and that when we find people who are guilty of cutting corners, they'll be made to face strong punitive measures and used as examples to their colleagues. Two, a retraining of Nigeria's police force. A number of them that are there don't know what they are doing. And there are Nigerian police officers,
they are fantastic ones,
police officers that are there, that understand the job, that are there to protect, professional police officers. But there are some of them that are there that don't know what they're doing, that don't understand the procedure for effecting a search, that don't understand how to effect an arrest. A police officer has pointed a gun at me before. Why? Because he was trying to get me to park. He needed to search me. He pointed a gun at me on Freedom Way in Lekki because he needed to check my papers.
What sort of training is that?
Do you understand? So there needs to be a retraining for a lot of them. Also, we cannot skip the part of their salaries and allowances. Their remuneration needs to be improved upon.
I have always advocated here.
Teachers
whether we like it or not. I've always advocated here.
No, teachers are not the cause.
But is it because teachers don't carry guns? That's why we're
Gbenga.
No, because we're talking about the police. Well, I'm speaking about that.
In one of our interviews, we had highlighted it here, and I had said it here that until they look into their salaries, no matter the reform you want to make, if salary is not between number 1 and number 2, it will not work. Because listen, if the police force is not attractive in terms of remuneration, no matter how beautifully you give them the uniform, they look good, if it is not attractive, even graduates who are even smart or someone will not want to get into it. Because what has happened now is the police force is now starting to look like a place where, okay, I don't have anything doing, let me just go there, I'm wasting time, so as a last resort. No, make it beautiful, let people know that they're coming to serve. It's a service. The police is a service. When you're coming to serve, you know that you're not just serving, you're being taken care of in return. Nevertheless,
because it's a very risky job.
It's a very risky job, honestly.
So we must give kudos to all the police officers who are doing fantastic.
The good ones, the good eggs.
But those who are not doing well, please, the good ones should be. I know it's hard. I have a police officer as a friend, and when you talk to them, they're like, see, they themselves don't even understand what their colleagues are doing most times. I was a victim recently. They stopped me, where are your car papers, your car documents? I gave them. This is the funny part, guys. They said, where's your insurance? And I said, insurance, I don't understand. A third-party insurance said, yes. Oh, okay, fine. I had printed the insurance document, but it was also taken by a police officer. When they asked me for my document.
I remember you mentioned.
And I was about to move. I said, can I have my document? He said, come on, get up. I'm like, Okay, I said, since it's printed, no problem, I'll print it again. So I didn't print. The following week, I met these new ones. And they said, where is it? I said, oh, it was taken by an officer, but I have my insurance. And he said, argue with me, why would you do that? I said, okay, you know what? There's a new directive online. Can I show you, sir? Can you check? They said, no, we don't check phones. I hope you know. I said, okay, use your mobile device. I see you have a smartphone. Go online, type www. I give him the website. Put my plate number on that website. It is regulated in Nigeria by the Nigerian insurance policy. It's there. Check. You can check anybody. I can check yours, and it will show me if you have insurance and what type of insurance and when it is going to expire. He said, no, I'm talking in there. I should bring the other papers. Saw my driver's license. Hey, why are they writing this on your driver's license? I'm like, I don't understand. Why are they writing what? And at the end of the day, they said I wouldn't move until I bring my insurance. So I said, okay, I turned to my right. I saw there was a printer there. I said, okay, let me go print. If I could print and come back, these guys took my papers and everything. Boom, and they moved. And I said, really? In Nigeria? So you can start to imagine the kind of mentality. It was photocopied. So
you see why we can never give them original papers.
No, you know, so that's the orientation that we need to change. The orientation simply is you don't stop people because you see them as customers. That's why we're wondering when they said happy customer service week. Why would the police be celebrating happy customer? Are you a business? You run a business. You are a service provider.
When do we get to the point where if they stop you, they're not having any unnecessary conversations with you? We see in other countries in Europe where they just go on the website, they type in your plate number or your name, and all your details come out, so that they can check whatever it is they need to check and don't have any one-on-one interaction that can lead to an altercation.
You know, one thing that happened in Georgia under President Mikhail Saakashvili, he took a very extreme step. He retired all of them, policemen, yes. But we can't take that drastic
No, we can't
measure.
take that. We don't even have enough.
What we can do now is to say, okay, we've reached the Rubicon. We're not crossing this line. Henceforth, from next year, across all board, officers and other ranks and junior officers, entry into the Nigerian police will be graduates. Minimum requirements will be a university or polytechnic degree. And then we can start from there.
And salaries,
you also look at the accommodation,
180,
remuneration.
250,
exactly, make it very attractive. It's a profession. My grandfather was a very successful police officer. So let's make it professional. You see the police officers in the United Arab Emirates.
Come on.
Your children will look at them and say,
I want to be a police officer.
Look at Singapore, look at other countries.
Sorry to butt in.
Yes.
There was a time in this country where children would say, I want to be a police officer.
I will
Nobody would be like,
now
people say that. It shouldn't be.
You use hanky and wipe your mouth.
It shouldn't be.
You tell your child, do like this, clean your mouth.
And if you sit down with these police officers, I've sat down with some of them. These are fantastic people.
I mean, this is the Nigerian police that produce people like MD Yusuf, Musiliu Smith, fantastic gentlemen, Tunde Alapini, and the others. And you see the way officers conduct themselves on the road. Look at that video. And you're wondering that, is this the same Nigerian police?
Sitting down, counting their money like it's business, making the hand.
And we are gradually becoming a country that is sort of teaching our children as well how to relate with Nigerian police officers. I feel bad for young men who have threats, because profiling is still a big thing, you know, a big thing and a big deal. Many times I'm driving by and once I see your car is flashy, I know they are going to stop you. It's why, thank God for us that don't have flashy cars.
I used to have your car is very
it's not flashing anything. Once you have a flashy car, they will stop you. There are certain cars that once you drive in Lagos, they must
flashy,
stop you.
tinted.
You know, tinted. Then if you're a man,
there are
a young
brands,
man.
Car brands.
Yes, let's not go there. There's certain brands.
You know, and so on,
as a young man, they will stop you. Then as a young woman, they will stop you, and some of them will now start flirting with you.
They do that?
Oh, yes.
They must be handsome officers.
I like you. Are you married? I say, gosh, you don't know why they put you here. Allow us to do your job. And the sad part is, I've now learned. I mean, I'm a what's the word?
Public figure.
No, not that. Like, no, stop it. I'm a social person. I'm very personable, right? But then I have to be twice that when I'm encountering a police officer. I have to be.
No, your regular self is charming.
Yes,
so
but I now have to be twice as charming, because I'm like, I don't want.
Here, I don't have
problem.
I really don't have issues with many of the Nigerian police force.
I greet them out.
I always tell them,
how are you?
My grandfather was
your
a policeman. You're doing a good job. You know.
They're fantastic people. I mean, we're using this medium to talk to the
bad eggs that are spoiling
and then talk to the IG of police. This reform should please look into their salaries. I believe if a police officer earns good salary,
A living wage.
a good one, I'm sure many of them will not wake up during the afternoon hours under the hot sun and say, let's go and mount a roadblock. And
they'll carry
But there will
themselves
still
with
be
a
some.
lot of dignity. You know,
There will still be some.
that's what money does.
Yes.
I mean, it makes you carry yourself with a certain level of dignity.
Yeah, respect and dignity. Because you
self-respect.
know if you earn 300,000, and you're able to save 100,000 from that 300,000 for a month.
That 300,000
That's about. I'm just giving an example.
Really annoying.
Olive, is it not
Compared
far
to
better
what
than
is-
60, 70,000 naira?
I know.
There's certain things. See, when a police officer works with his children, he can simply walk into an eatery where every other person is going to and eat with his children for as much as 45,000 and pay and
do they
have a great time.
have insurance, life insurance?
That's another
for their
thing.
families?
Life insurance for him and
If
his
something
family.
happens to a police officer, is he assured?
They need
that his
to,
family
they
free
need to
education.
make the Nigerian police a great place to work.
Period.
Okay,
Period.
let's see what
That's it.
Nigerians are saying, and then we'll come back to take some final comments on YouTube. But please feel free to go on YouTube to share your thoughts on any of the stories. If we have tweets, okay, we have an eyewitness report. Let's take a look at this. It says, I don't know if the villagers and government are not seeing what's happening at that 7.5 Amanze Junction, Imo State. Young guys are being harassed daily. I was once a victim. Normally, I don't open my phone for any officer because they have no right. That's what Okejiri says. It says, but one day, they threatened to shoot me if I didn't unlock my phone. One even wanted to slap me. After checking my chats and gallery, they still asked me to open my First Bank app.
Yeah.
Why should an officer ask for that? This is not policing, it's intimidation.
Yeah, it's intimidation,
Okejiri
yes.
says. If you doubt it, let's pass that road together. You'll always see boys they've held inside or behind their van. They cover their faces with masks because they know what they're doing is illegal. Okejiri Emmanuel says, and this is exactly what I had just spoken about, how it is a risk to be a young person in Nigeria, a young man in particular.
Why
He says,
leave the real work? They understand.
why
They know
leave
the real work. They're
you're
assignments.
supposed to? Let's go to the previous tweet, please. He says, why leave the real work you're supposed to do only to extort travelers? At Police NG, look into this. We deserve security, not fear. Then he goes on to detail his story. He said, yesterday, when leaving Solomon's father's burial, they stopped me again. 2 boys entered my car crying. Officers had collected their school fees.
Attached is
the
proof.
proof,
That's the
Okejiri
proof.
Emmanuel says. And this is really sad. And this is the report, the response to what's happening. This is
That's
the
the
proof. Chimaroke Ajonuma, 30,000 naira initiated on December 11. This is just very
Transfer.
recently transferred to Money Point, outward transfer. You can see another one, 50,000 naira from the same Chimaroke Ajonuma, completed. Again to Money Point. This is an indictment on the Nigerian police in Imo State
Police Command.
the Imo State Police Command. It's a shame and it's an indictment, and we're calling out the Imo State Police Command. We're calling out the Imo State Police. It's not just about putting tweets. They need to give us an update.
Yes.
Find out the people, the policemen who were on that road that extorted these young men's school fees. And if it's found to be correct, and if you find that it's not correct, then you can bring up a case against them for defamation, criminal defamation, or whatever it is. But in this case, they have shared proof, and we hope that there's an investigation. We're calling them out, and we certainly want we want a response to that.
Absolutely.
Very
I
sad.
mean, it's one too many. And
Permit me, guys, to use this medium to mention that for all those who are going around with the dirty December fever, the groove, and so on, I think you just ensure that you have all your documentations. However, also have family members and close friends on speed dial. Because
Carry
if possible,
your-
and this
carry
is,
your
this is
glasses
and
that
if
have
possible, have your
camera.
cameras.
Yes.
Have your cameras everywhere. Because this is what we need to start doing. We need to, if the Nigerian Police Force will
Accountability.
not create the website
force
to be
them to be
accountable,
accountable.
we would create that website to actually be affordable. And I just want to mention this for the last time, looking at the cameras clearly, please. This is we're begging, and we're simply saying, if Crime Fighters was a program to show crime that was committed by, that is or are committed by members of society, I think the police force should also have Crime Fighters that focuses on crime committed
on rogue policemen.
by unruly policemen as well. Very
All right.
key.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying about this on X, then we'll go to what Nigerians are saying about this on YouTube. So go ahead to drop your comments now on YouTube. Omar Ogun says, this is an eyesore and the entire team in this video should be immediately sanctioned by the military authority.
Military?
Military, not quite military, but I get what he's saying. This should not have happened in the first place, as it's not the duty of the, I want to interpret as police, to usurp, okay, of the military to usurp the duties of the police. Was that a military video, or are we mistaking another one?
No, it was policemen.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to another tweet. It says, policies mean nothing if they are not enforced. Until rogue officers face real consequences, others are just speeches. I pinned that comment. They have the backing of their boss at the top. These guys are given targets on how much they need to remit daily for their boss. Extortion is now part of the course you must pass before you can qualify as a police officer in Nigeria.
Which course?
Now, wow.
I don't understand
when I think
that.
social media and real life now same thing. The social media ones are always saying something else, while the ones in the field are doing something else, which could only mean two things. One, the social media talk is just fronting. Once the camera is down, they give their boys a different order. Two, the boys have no regard for their bosses. They're probably tired of them all, so they disregard any of their orders. An institution as broken as the nation itself. Heartbreaking, Damien says. Let's go on YouTube and see comments that we have. Mokni Chukwemeka says, those policemen are always on that road doing the nonsense. I have read people's tweets about them. So you see, many people have experienced this. I don't think there's any Nigerian that hasn't either directly experienced it or seen police meting out some form of extortion to other people. And we need to collectively stand against it.
And look, journalists, please, you can also do investigative work. And it's not, journalism is not to go for government events and report that, okay, the president was here, he commissioned this, the minister was here, he says this. These are some of the issues. You're meant to effect change in society. You're meant to talk to victims, you're meant to investigate, present this evidence before the Imo State police commander and things like that. This is what journalism should be. So let's be the change we want to see in society and also spur these sort of conversations and, you know, highlight these ills in society.
I think the final point that I want to raise, which I'm talking to myself as I'm raising this point, the office of the citizen is the highest office of the land. That can be interpreted in several ways. If, for example, I see a policeman harassing Gbenga and I'm driving by and I stop and Joe sees...
Mayokun, please.
Okay, we're using Mayokun today. So we see a policeman harassing Mayokun. Gbenga sees and parks and says, officer, waiting to happen. I see and I park. Joe sees and he parks. Before you know, there's a huge crowd packed around there trying to have a conversation with the police people. The number, and we're not saying that we're not inciting violence. It's not violence. Allow them to do their job. But by the time they see that they have a community of people who are standing and holding them accountable, they would either do exactly. Yes, they would do what is right. They wouldn't cower. They wouldn't. They would give way to common sense, I would assume, right? As opposed, because they know that they can't win this. Everybody's surrounding them, having conversations. Okay, do your search, we're watching. And after that, people are filming. They know people are filming, and any action will be broadcast on social media. We must learn to be our brother's keeper. It's very easy to look the other way when you see the police harassing other people.
Like in LAPD and other times. Well, I've not even completed the sentence. You guys are Thomases. You've already started laughing. You are interpreting. And from what I can interpret from your laughter is that it cannot work.
Does it laugh on social media?
I'm not saying that it cannot work. I just feel like, first of all, they'll start talking about the budget, how much it will cost to wear body cams. In a police that if you go to complain, they'll tell you to pay mobilization fee for them to buy fuel to take their car out.
My camera
battery is dead. Oh,
even just name tags and service numbers.
They haven't been able to do that successfully.
You should, as an officer, so that the public can identify you, always be in uniform that identified that has your name tag and service number, but they don't. They wear all those sorts of T-shirts. I mean, just look at that video, for example.
You see police, you'll be more afraid of police.
He was wearing a special forces shirt. Imagine special forces on the street.
On the street, so
where you should be. Imagine a SWAT. No, it's quite unfortunate.
As we wrap up the conversation, one more tweet. Mokwe Chukwemeka says, if the sanctions are really carried out when they are caught, don't you think they'll be scared to do this? Exactly what we said earlier. Like, if we don't have strong punitive measures,
we saw one that was carried out recently. A Dutch motorcycle rider. She was, I think she was going to another country, and then she met this. They're not really policemen. This part-time policeman, sub policemen, And they said, give us money. Yeah. So we saw their orderly room trial. They were dismissed. They took their uniforms and
okay, as we wrap up, I've seen your tweet, Ochodi. Ochodi says I should deliver my outfit to his address or her address. No problem. Send the address on. Please don't send your address publicly. Just joking. But thank you so much to our virtual analysts who join us. We'll be taking more of your tweets throughout the course of the conversation today.